So the question of the hour is Truth Social Truth Social worth $3 billion? So supposedly Donald Trump is about to be $3 billion richer due to the deal with Truth Social. Question is it really worth that? A lot of people are saying, how on earth is this company worth that amount of money? They've been losing money, they're losing followers, they're not doing very well. It doesn't make any sense. Well, let's talk. So what I would say is that if you're on the left, I would bet good money that Truth Social is worth a lot more than you think. Trump, a bumbling idiot. He's a huckster. He's had many failed businesses. I would not look at him as a good businessman. I would look at him as an effective marketer, an effective reality TV star, a hype man, things like that, scam artist, manipulator. So I wouldn't just look at him completely as a bumbling idiot. He can be a bumbling idiot, but he can also be very, very effective in the arena of manipulation of others. Now, that being said, the main difference is that even though I have a low assessment of Donald Trump as a person and anything that he's involved in, I separate that from making assessments about things that are not necessarily directly related, right? When I look at what is the potential value of Truth Social, I am looking specifically at Truth Social, and I try to think logically about where the value would come from, and I put aside my thoughts about Donald Trump. I mean, obviously it's relevant, right? Because the business is all about him, so it's not like you can totally dismiss his character and his track record. But I'm not sort of trapped by that narrative, right? I'm not just solely, so automatically Trump's an idiot, so if it's something associated to him, then it's junk. No. Another relevant factor is the fact that when I'm trying to figure out what the value of the company is, I'm not looking at it based on how I feel about the company, right? I am looking at it based on how others look at the company, how others look at Trump. And have you seen what the MAGA rallies look like? That's what I'm looking at when I'm trying to assess the value, right? Because again, when you're dealing with market prices, it's not based on your personal opinion, it's based on the market's opinion, right? I look at the actual thing and I make my assessment. So I can't say whether it's worth $3 billion or not, right? I don't have enough information or knowledge to make that assessment, but I do have enough information to make the assessment that I'm pretty sure it's worth a lot more than pretty much the average left-wing person thinks. I think significantly more. And here's one of the reasons why. I've spoken to a lot of people on the left, and their understanding of how business works and how the stock market works and investing works generally seems to be very, very limited. I think there is this sort of cartoonish view that you want to. I think they almost want to make the value of the company based on what it's worth to them. But that's not how prices work, right? If you don't have much value, you don't think it's worth much value, that's irrelevant. What matters is what the market thinks, right? The people who would potentially buy or sell this company or be invested in this company. That's the only thing that really matters in terms of the price, right? And I would go as far as to say, if I had, a lot of money, $50 million or more, for example, I would potentially make a sizable investment in Truth Social, even being that I think the company is probably not a very good company, probably not run very well. So my investment in the company would not be based on, again, I think the left-wing thought process is you're looking at, the actual company and trying to size it up, like how good they are, their growth. Not saying those things are irrelevant, but again, the most important thing in terms of when you're talking about the value of something is I think perceived value is oftentimes more important than the actual value. And what does that mean, value, right? Value is sort of, what's it? One man's treasure is another man's trash or something like that, right? It's a very personal thing, right? Someone can love something. There's a lot of people who love Lamborghinis. There's some people who think those cars are stupid. They're loud, they're uncomfortable, right? So the reason I would invest in the company is because Donald Trump has a very, very powerful hold on a large group of people who absolutely love him. It's a cult level thing. And no matter what he does, these people just, I want to talk about Trump derangement. I mean, they are just absolutely obsessed with the guy. So based on that, I could imagine that there is a sizable amount of people that would want to be invested in anything that he's involved in, because a lot of them see him as a very successful guy. They look at him as this major icon. So my investment in the company will be based on not my perception of the value. My value doesn't matter, right? I'm not the one that's going to be that sort of is a target audience for a company like that. But I look at the people who it is targeted at, and I look at how strong he has a connection with them. But I think more importantly, more than just the fact that I would invest in Truth Social if I had that kind of money, but how I would do it. I would invest in Truth Social as a short-term gamble, and I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be the only one. So the thing is, take a sizable position in Truth Social, and then have a strategy of how long you're going to hold it before you dump it, before everything comes crashing down. Right? So, this is kind of the way this stuff works. I mean, if let's just say, for example, you live on a very religious block, right? And there's this idea that, people find that people who wear white shirts are shielded from diseases or something like that. Like, that's the idea that's being promoted in the churches, and people really believe that. And there becomes a run on white shirts, and you can't get them anywhere. So a white shirt that would normally sell for like $2, I think on your street is worth a lot more money than that. The shirt is not better. It's the same cotton shirts, right? But the perceived value is now higher. People in their minds believe that these shirts can shield them from diseases, right? So because they have that belief, that makes the value of the shirts higher, right? I mean, the same thing applies to just about, that's a little bit kind of obscure, but let's look at a normal situation. Let's just say, just simplify things. Let's just say that there was only one car available, the Honda Accord, right? Everyone's driving Honda Accords. Then for some reason, there's some issue where, some incident happens where half of the Honda Accords just evaporate, and it's going to take at least 5 years to produce more, right? So a ton of people all of a sudden don't have cars and can't purchase them. You go to car dealerships, they got nothing, right? If those Honda Accords were previously worth $25,000, I'm sorry, but they're worth a lot more now, right? Just based on the fact that there's not that many of them. Now the car is the same car. It doesn't have any. It's not doing anything more than it was doing before, but just because of the limited supply, right? So again, you can't look at a value, how much something is worth, from a standpoint of sort of a very black and white. What can it do? What is it capable of? What are you getting out of this actual thing? And more importantly, you can't look at the value of something based on your personal feelings, right? So again, I don't know what Truth Social is worth, but I'm sure it's worth more than you think it is, based on being a left-winger, just ideological blinders. But again, ironically, just like you, I don't have a lot of faith in the company, right? I don't see a lot of a bright future for it. But in the short term, I see a tremendous value. It's just like with the NFTs. That's another investment I would have made. I would have made a ton of money using the same exact strategy. I know there's a bunch of Trump sycophants that would have bought it and go crazy. Oh, Trump, they'll buy anything that Trump is selling, right? And I also recognize that it's kind of a joke, right? So I would definitely buy in real quick and dump it real quick, and I would have made a ton of money. That would have been easy money, right? Or would it? Bum, bum, bum. This is Baby Channel. Debate in the comment section below. Click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell. Be well. And I'm out.